Howdy, friends. This is Adam Ganser stopping by just to thank you so much for listening to us and all of our precious projects on the Small Beans Patreon. And if you have a couple extra bucks and haven't signed up for our $5 tier, I wanted to let you know there is some of the best entertainment anywhere on the internet just waiting for your listening pleasure. This includes episodes of I'll Show You Mine If You Show Me Yours, Spiel Boys, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and coming soon some very secret but very awesome projects we can't wait to show you. If you got the money and you feel like it, we'd sure love to have it. And thanks so much for listening to Small Beans.
Lights, camera, action! We're shooting threes, just SMB. We're gonna watch and review film trilogies. It's all for laughs, so just sit back. We're gonna drop dimes on this podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Shooting Threes. We are covering the Cornetto trilogy. We have reached 2 of 3 here with Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
And we're going to talk about it. I'm Sarah Griffith.
I'm Bridgett Greenberg.
And this is Shooting Threes. Okay, there we go.
I forgot the name of it for half a second.
Also got concerned about it. I wasn't sure what we were going to say.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw just the blank behind my eyes.
Well, I was like, we could say like Hot Fuzz. We could say Cornetto trilogy. We could say Shooting Threes. What was Shooting Threes? Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
This was TV fodder for me. We talked about that with Shaun of the Dead. This was like turn on Comedy Central at some point. I'm watching like 7 minutes of this movie.
For sure. Yeah, I don't think I saw this movie all the way through. I think I saw it in chunks on cable.
Yeah, God, I almost feel like we maybe rented this movie from like a red box.
Oh,
because this was 2007, so we were a little bit past
you were starting to
but
move past Blockbuster, but still a DVD.
Because I remember we don't own this movie, but I did see it on DVD. And then every time I have seen this movie again, it's just been kind of on TV. So
on
it's
cable.
Like, I'll watch. Yeah, sure, a little bit of this, whatever.
Yeah. So number 2, what I will say about this is like, for me watching this movie. And I think every time I watch this movie, but now back to back with Shaun of the Dead, this is Edgar Wright, I feel like, completely honing his voice and his style is, he put his foot on it. Like it's fully there in this movie. The jokes are in camera and dialogue wise are so sharp and so quick. I feel like he has fully, like, this is Edgar Wright full form, full Pokemon, Charizard.
Yeah. You know, he is able to tell a lot about the story with a 1 second frame of just like the visual. It's like, you know, they're at the bar, you know, they're getting pints of beer, you know, they've got to piss, you know, they're getting drunk, like quick.
Yeah.
Let's move this part of the story along so we can get to the next scene we need to be in. The way he moves time along in this movie, I find so interesting too.
Like when we see the Nichols character, Nick's character, in his office when they're firing him and him talking to his bosses in succession. Yeah. It's such a great scene and such a great like way to get into the movie and feel like how this world is going to work and how we're going to just like skip along things and keep it quick and keep it fast.
It was almost Mel Brooksian, that opening scene, just like the quick gag of the people come in, you're going, whatever, and then turn around, the whole office is throwing a going away party.
Yeah, it sets up this like kind of crazy world where things move very fast and happen very dramatically.
And let's get the British actor cameos
just
right into this.
I mean, some of our favorites from Edgar Wright movies.
This is when Martin Freeman was in every British movie other than Harry Potter.
I know.
He was on The Office at the time.
Yeah.
So we got like two everywhere.
We got 2 Office girlies.
Who's the other? Martin Freeman and...
For some reason, I thought Olivia Colman was in the British Office for a second, but that's not true.
No, but
she's not.
It feels like she would be, though.
It feels like she would be.
If someone said me that... Well, it's kind of like Amy Adams is on the U.S. version of The Office. People forget.
Yeah.
So, like,
Everyone pops up in the Office UK or USA version.
Sure.
And Pam was in...
Shaun of the Dead.
Was in Shaun of the Dead.
Right,
so I figured there might be another...
Actually, much like in America, where everyone on The Office, even in the deep ensemble... They got to have like their movie.
Right. We gave them everything. But so we get the Martin Freeman cameo out of the way. We get the Bill Nighy cameo out of the way. Which great. Love seeing those two anywhere we can put them.
Yes.
I wish they came back a little bit more. That's really, they're just one and done.
Only could afford him for the one day because again, Martin Freeman, he's got like 13 other movies to film.
In a week. And then we also, we got that budget for James Bond, Timothy Dalton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is so cool that he's in this movie.
It is a really inspired casting, and I think he must have had a lot of fun playing this.
It seems like he was a trooper. One, they wrote it with him in mind, being like, "Oh, we're not going to get Timothy Dalton."
That's really good, actually.
Yeah. And then I guess even in he was down. He's a down guy. He even in scenes he was not in, he would show up on set just so they would have someone to like. When they were filming other person's coverage.
Wow, yeah. I love to hear when actors do that. I think that is such a pure actor.
It is, yeah. So he just showed up on days where they weren't shooting his coverage to give Simon Pegg and crew someone to act on.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Which is awesome. He's the best. Hot take, love his James Bond. But that's...
You know what's so funny? We were just talking about how Sean Connery is actually like a sexist piece of shit.
Yeah, well,
And now it's like on the other end of the spectrum. Like, Timothy Dalton. You know what? He's got that Daniel Craig in him where Daniel Craig is like, you want me to do a funny voice and be in your movie? My pleasure.
I love it.
My fucking pleasure.
I also think both of them played kind of darker Bonds. So I feel like they're like, well, to not be Bond, I'm going to get out it. Like, I didn't get the fun Bonds. I'm going to get out and do the fun stuff now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's what I was hoping for. But, I can go on and on about...
Yeah, I guess we should just dive in. Because I got to say, I'm learning for the first time, honestly, that people love this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah, growing up, I don't know, maybe I got this from my parents, this idea, but I kind of got the feeling that everyone was like, oh yeah, it's not like Shaun of the Dead, but it's still pretty good. And then I also would probably say the same about this movie. But then I like, just as a laugh, I like took a peek at Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
No, this movie's a big deal.
The way people love this movie.
People are going to come after you. And I will say...
Oh, like you love Hot Fuzz so fucking much.
Okay. I'll jump into it with my hot take, which is similar to your hot take. I came into this thinking that having seen... the only one I saw in theaters from front to back was At the World's End.
And I haven't even seen that one yet.
So the other two I saw bits and most of, I would say 80 to 90% of the movie I saw on cable. I will say my thought on this is that watching it sitting down front to back, I came into this because of these watching. Sorry, I'm getting confused, but I came into this trilogy thinking that I liked Hot Fuzz the best. And I think that is because it has some of the funniest, sharpest bits and scenes in this movie. But as a whole, I think Shaun of the Dead works better as an entire movie.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I said was like, I kind of think 25 minutes of this movie can be cut.
I do think this movie, I hate to say this, but I do think this movie suffers a little bit from the success of Shaun of the Dead, where they had limitations. Yeah. And then they got this movie, they had a little bit more money, they had a little more time and more leeway. And I think they get ahead of themselves with some of the stunts they pull and some of the... I think the final fight scene, by the time that happens and the plot is revealed, that final fight goes on too long. And I can tell they're having a lot of fun with the stunts and the explosions and the shooting and the big set pieces, which is fun. But it does last a little long for me. I am kind of over it by the time it ends.
Yeah, it also takes a while to
ramp up.
When you're first like, oh, this is a serial killer. Like these aren't like when you're kind of piecing that together as an audience. I think that's like halfway through the movie.
It takes for as quick as this movie moves, the plot, the pacing of the plot kind of goes a little
to your
slow.
Point about watching it on TV, it's like, I guess when I saw it on TV, it was never one of those scenes where everyone was just sitting down and talking to each other.
Right.
Because those were the scenes that I was a little bit like, all right. Like, we get it.
Yeah. There is some incredible dialogue in that movie. Like when he's checking into the inn, that is the fascist and hag exchange is so clever and so smart. It makes me laugh. I've seen it a million times. It makes me laugh every time. The other thing that makes me laugh so hard every time is Nick Frost running into that fence.
Nick Frost running into the fence. Actually, I never heard Nick Frost say Judge Judy and Executioner.
Yes, Judge Judy and Executioners.
That really was good.
That was,
and that I think that's what it is. It's like Shaun of the Dead is like a gag per second.
Yeah,
like it is all jokes. I wanted more. Like, let's get some more jokes into some of these scenes.
I will say in the smaller dialogue scenes, you do get like Patty Considine in this movie. The two Andys are so funny. Every exchange with them made me laugh out loud. And then realizing that's Patty Considine and from House of the Dragon was also like, what a weird world 2007
that's what's great
is.
about British actors. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they're always around.
They're always
You think
around.
you've discovered a British... No, bitch.
No, they've been here.
They've been in everything.
They've been here.
They've always been here.
Olivia Colman is in this.
You know who is Simon Pegg's girlfriend, who's the CSI chick?
Right. Oh, yes.
That's Kate Blanchett.
Yes. Huge mic drop for me when I was reading that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I knew that. I must have known that prior to watching it, because in the scene where she's talking to him on the phone, her voice and her eyes, I'm like, that's obviously Kate Blanchett.
I did not realize it, read about it, went back and watched
Uncredited.
Uncredited.
I didn't look into why she did that, though, just because she's a fan?
She loves Shaun of the Dead, that she was like, I want in on this.
I'm in.
And they put her in unrecognizable in that full suit.
That's cool, though.
That scene is also
again, that's a pure actor move. It's like, I just want to be in the. I don't give a shit about
also,
anything.
that scene, that breakup scene, is incredible.
That's
too.
tight. Tight.
That's what I for like some of what I'll call bloat in this movie. I'm like afraid to talk bad about this movie. People
I'm
love
not
it so
because
much.
again, I'm only just now learning that, like, for many people, this is like one of their favorite comedies of all time.
I will just say, don't come after us. We do, for the most part, like
or I don't
movie.
care. Do boost my engagement. See what the fuck I care. You make me haters make me famous. Haters make me famous, baby.
All right, step to Sarah. I'm afraid of people being mad.
Haters
at me.
make me famous.
I don't like when people are mad at me, so don't be mad at me, please.
No, I'm just I guess I have nothing against this movie. Just because I don't personally like love it doesn't mean anything. I am genuinely surprised, because I kind of thought that the talk of this was like, oh yeah, like kind of diminishing results, but you know, it's still Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
I fully thought I was going into this thinking that I would think this is the better movie, but also because of what I said earlier, that you see just Edgar Wright fully honing his voice as a director in this movie. He's at the top of, like, as Edgar Wright, I think he is at the top of his game in this movie.
He's reached full Edgar Wrightism.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, speaking of seeing the version on TV all the time, this movie is a little bit more gory than I remember.
Oh, man. Yeah.
When the messenger, which they killed the messenger. Did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, that scene.
Classic. There's a lot of jokes in here that are like Monty Python.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is a Monty Python and the Holy Grail ass joke.
It's a clever movie. If you want to learn about quick joke writing, it's 30 Rock in this.
Truly. But he gets I think in the TV version, it just like hits him on the head.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
I think it cuts away. Yeah.
It like fully goes inside
of
him.
It's so silly and so brutal. I also didn't remember. I was like, cut away,
it's bloody.
Cut away.
Yeah.
It's pretty
gross.
gross.
It's a really bloody movie. And I was like, oh, I guess on TV they probably like don't show all this.
I was taken aback by that. And then also fun fact, the dog that accompanies them to confiscate all those weapons.
Oh yeah.
He is one of those dogs in real life.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm gonna say?
Like he sniffs for like...
No. He was one of those dogs that is too friendly to be on the police force, so he failed.
I thought he was playing himself in the movie, but
no,
he tried to be.
He tried to be that, but he was too friendly. Yeah. Samson. Good boy. Good boy,
I always
Samson.
read online, so like I don't know if this is true, but I've always read that like sometimes if a dog actor on set is wagging his tail too much, they have to digitally alter the dog's tail so it's not wagging all the time. Because the actor dog is like happy.
Yeah.
Because the actor dog is like, I'm doing my thing.
Actor dogs are happy. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, actor cats. I've had to work with actor cats more than I've had to work with actor dogs. Give me a dog. Dogs are great actors.
Quick side story because we're getting off track, I understand, but I was on a crazy set for 2 days for a project that is crazy. We'll never see the light of day. So
Sure.
like whatever. And we I got there. Then they were like, you're gonna be holding a cat. And I was like, okay. We were outside and we did not have like professional actor cats.
No wranglers?
We had 2 women. One woman brought 2 cats. Another woman brought the single cat.
And they
just
weren't like wranglers.
outside.
It
No,
was just their
this
cats.
is just a friend of production.
Okay.
And outside in the elements and everything, we're just holding on to these 3 cats. No fence, no gate, no laws, no union inside,
kitty
no
union.
OSHA, no fucking labor laws enforced.
Right.
Nothing. 2 of the cats did not get along. So one of the cats had to go back into the kitty carrier, which then was like, well, I guess you could just hold the kitty carrier in her lap. It's like, this is fucking crazy. And the whole time I was like, and if one of these cats gets squirmy wormy and runs away,
Yeah, they're just sacks of goo.
they're gone. Like
Yeah.
they're completely gone.
Good luck.
It was, and also this was the same set where they also had a snake on set.
Oh no.
And they were like, are you okay with the snake being here? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm like, I mean, so long as you guys are okay with it. And they're like, oh, we're actually pretty nervous. I'm like, oh, well, now I
Now
don't
I'm
feel good
nervous.
at all.
Yeah, the snake's
because it
gonna
was
eat the
also
cat.
just someone's pet.
Was it a big snake?
Mm-hmm.
Could it have eaten a cat?
No, I don't know about that. They were separated, thank God.
Good. Yeah.
But
Seems smart.
Yeah, the pet actors we were working with were just somebody's pets.
Well, I will say that when I've talked to cat wranglers I've worked with, I've asked because like dogs, they're very trainable animals. All these people are like, well, it's like, how do you get the cat to stay? And they're like, well, you can't train a cat, you know that. And I'm like, well, what are you doing?
So what are we
here?
hiring you
What
for?
what are we doing here? They were like, we just pick the ones that are most treat motivated
Aw.
and go with those. But yeah, you can't train a cat. You can't, like, a cat's not going to
You
do
could
what
just
you
get a
want.
cat on a good day.
Yeah, exactly. Just like,
Or just ask a friend who has cats.
and tell them not to feed it for a little while. So
Oh
like,
my God.
make it hungry and then
Right.
bring it to set. I think that's what they do. So
Give it half a Benadryl to calm down.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. Kind of little detail starting in we kind of talked about the intro, but I kind of forgot that like part of the story is that like actually Simon Pegg is a
Good cop.
quote good,
Yes.
a cop that is good at his cop duties,
Yes.
and like is aggressively so.
Right. Yes. That he is too good at his job and he makes everybody else look bad. That is why he gets fired and sent to this small town.
Yes,
That has a very low
I don't know.
crime.
In my memory, it's like because he's not that good of a cop,
In
and
what-
he kind of isn't. If
Well,
you think about it,
Well,
Is
yeah.
it?
In it? Yeah, I mean, I think that's ultimately the point is that he is just so robotic and treating all criminals equal, whether you're shoplifting or murdering people.
and actually not even considering like, is this benefiting the greater good? I actually thought this movie had like kind of something smart to say about like community,
yes.
about like the farce we put on. I think especially like where I think of is like when white people live in the suburbs and
Yes.
then they make a comment about how the city is dangerous, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but like crimes, like violent crime still happens in the suburbs.
I do think, yes, I think this movie has like an interesting message and an interesting thing to say. I think it does get a little muddy when you try to trace it through the movie.
It's not traceable. This is pretty much the thought I have when they get to the reveal of the NWA Neighborhood Watch Association.
Which is insane that it's called the NWA.
And it's insane that joke lasts the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then that actually becomes like the main thing at the end.
The fact they keep saying it every time they said it in the movie, I was like, what?
Yeah. And obviously that's the joke.
Obviously, it's a joke.
Obviously that's the joke.
It's very funny.
But yeah, they really
It's jarring
again,
every
it's
time.
Monty Python-esque where it's like, you think this is a silly gag throwaway joke? No, bitch.
No.
This is going to come back over and over and over again.
Yeah. I also think, Nick Frost's character obsession with American cop movies like Bad Boys, which is so freaking funny. But plays into this. He has this look of glorifying police and these people who will do anything to chase down their criminals. And then when he gets into this town of Sanborn, and the criminals are like someone who shoplift or like a goose on the loose, which is also very funny that this goose keeps just.
But you know what? Honestly, a goose will fucking run you down.
Oh, you got to get that goose.
That is one of the scariest animals.
I'm with Simon, early second act Simon Pegg and the NWA on this. You got to get that goose out of this town.
No, that is honestly bad.
That goose is a nuisance. It's going to shit everywhere.
That is bad.
Yeah.
But to the point, like I was really, what I keep thinking about is like at the beginning when he moves to the small village, he arrests all these kids for underage drinking. And the barkeeps are like, we know they're underage, but it's like, I'd rather them drink here than get out and get into trouble or whatever. Yeah. And then come to find out, because the NWA killed those kids for getting arrested for underage drinking because they were a blight on the community. And it's like, see, cop, how actually sometimes like a little bit of law breaking is better than completely, ending or derailing a person's life. It's like, hey, was the crime really all that bad? They're just kids trying to go drunk.
Absolutely. I guess it's not really all that helpful to sit here and poke holes in this movie, but I will say those barkeepers are part of the NWA.
Okay.
Were they going to kill them? It's a little confusing.
I was also a little bit confused by that. I guess like my best guess is it's kind of like in The Sopranos where they have to whack one of their own. Sure. And it's like they don't really want to and they do their best to try to avoid it, but at a certain point like they got to follow their duty.
Also, where are those kids coming from? Are they not
I don't know. There is a level of like people disappearing in this town that's like, and no one really, but again, like, cause they get the best village award and like that means more to everybody.
Well, yeah, because the NWA is just turning a blind eye, but it wasn't clear to me like where those kids were coming from.
And why aren't their parents like, do their all parents of our teenage boys are missing after they were arrested?
Yeah, do their parents not live in the town? I mean, it's a little bit of a silly hole to poke, but I think the thing with the barkeeps, like, they were part of the NWA. They were killing people.
I saw them, right?
Yeah, they were killing people. They had a whole thing at the end. They didn't like Simon Pegg coming in. And you would also think that the NWA is more amenable to Simon Pegg's character at the beginning because he's doing
but it's the crime rate. If he keeps arresting people, the crime rate technically is going to go up.
And then you're right.
Which is also his problem in London.
Which was also
that it's like, dude, you keep arresting everyone. It makes our crime rate look insane. And then also we have no one else to arrest because you keep arresting all the criminals.
Right. And then so the barkeeper thing kind of confused me.
Yeah, a little bit of a hiccup, but
otherwise,
nonetheless, I think the point still stands. It's like, hey, if someone wants to do like a little bit of wrong, and if the other option is
we're better off keeping it contained and not
honestly even just throwing people in jail. You know, because that's going to go on the record. That could be a whole thing.
In that case, I would say yes. I mean, and this is a point showing that Simon Pegg's character, as the innkeeper said, is a little bit of a fascist and is arresting people at all causes, and it's not necessarily for the greater good.
Yeah.
But then the plot continues.
Yes.
We get that great scene again that I keep referring to with the innkeeper where, she's doing her crossword puzzle and he calls her a fascist and calls her a hag, which great joke, great bit, amazing delivery, A+ all around. I will say, isn't the whole point of the NWA that they are fascists?
Some would say.
Yeah. So calling him a fascist, I don't think quite works.
Here's the thing about the NWA reveal.
He is. But,
yeah.
But
I think some reveals in a movie are so good that you can go back to earlier scenes of the movie and you go, oh my God, that's what it was. I don't think this is one of those movies.
No, this is definitely a movie
by
that
and
was
large
built around I mean, really great bits and scenes and performances and things they knew they can get and nail. But yes, looking back on it, I'm like, well, why would you call him that when that's exactly what you're doing? It doesn't.
Yeah.
I think thinking about it and talking about Shaun of the Dead and how well the metaphor of that movie and the themes of that movie shine through, you walk away from this movie picking up on all of that, but then upon thinking about the movie, you're like, does it work fully?
Yeah,
or
you can't
were
really
they
like
just building
walk
jokes?
through that woods for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else it starts falling apart.
Mhm.
But anyway, he's living in this town. There's not a lot of crime.
Which is this is where Edgar Wright grew up.
Yes.
This real village.
Yeah. Isn't it the same place that they shot Hot Fuzz?
You mean Shaun
Or
of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead?
I don't know.
I think some of the streets look the same, but
Honey, that's just England.
yeah,
That is just
that's
England.
just it. All looks the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, so real town. Yeah, Simon Pegg's parents are also in this movie.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. But yeah, not a lot of crime going on. He's chasing Goose, and he goes ham on a shoplifter.
Yeah.
Jumping over fences. Who knew? Simon Pegg, they put him in those Mission Impossible movies as this like doughy character, and as like the guy behind the computer being like, Ethan, don't do that.
Yeah.
And it turns out he's a badass.
Do you know why Simon Pegg is in those Mission Impossible movies?
It has to be because of this.
It is primarily because J.J. Abrams likes him.
I mean,
like dead ass.
I mean,
like I just like this guy. I'm casting movies.
He seems like
he's
a great
fucking
dude.
in.
He seems like a great dude. He's so smart.
I have no problem with that being the reason why someone's casted him. Like I literally, and Simon Pegg, Simon Pegg can show up in any goddamn movie.
I'm happy to see him.
wouldn't think twice. I'd be like, oh yes, Simon Pegg is
He
here.
deserves to be
Sure.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny that they have him do none of this in the Mission Impossible movies because he trained his ass off for these movies.
Yeah. Oh, did he really?
That bike skid he learned how to do. He did like weapons training.
Okay,
he did,
Simon.
Yeah, he did a lot of training for these movies.
I mean, I guess there is a lot of fighting, but I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of weapons training and just like little things here and there that he did his own stunts when he could.
Yeah.
Which is why Tommy Cruise loves him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean he's not hanging off the side of a plane, but who amongst us
sure thing. Yeah.
has the credence to do that?
Hey, good on him.
Good on him.
Good on him.
But yeah, he's trying to be A+ cop in a town where not a lot happens, but finally he pulls over this obnoxious couple on a traffic stop.
Oh.
Who are on their way to perform Romeo and Juliet for the town Shakespeare Company.
By the way, they call it Amdram. Go support the Amdram. And I just thought that was the name of the theater. Like the Amdram Community Theater. And I hope I'm pronouncing this. I'm sure in the British accent's a little bit different. Amdram is like British slang for amateur drama.
Oh, fun.
Like amateur theater, community theater, Amdram.
Amdram.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it's an Amdram production of Romeo and Juliet.
We gotta go see more Amdram.
I was reading the Wikipedia page for this, and I honestly didn't even clock the use of the term.
No.
But then they used it on the Wikipedia page, and it was a blue link.
Fun.
So I was like, say more? And Amdram.
That's cool. That's like when I found out AP
drama.
American History is A push. It was really exciting.
Yeah. So cute little British
cute
slang I
cute
learned.
little, we're going to the Amdram. We're going to see some Amdram.
I do also like that the production of Romeo and Juliet is specifically a production of Baz Luhrmann's
Romeo and Juliet. Which is great.
Like, it's not this Shakespeare. It's like they clearly watched the movie and then wanted to do the movie.
Didn't understand it. It's yes, that part is very funny. Them watching the play is super funny. What they're doing is great. But those
just end with everyone singing Love Fool.
Yes.
That's fucking funny.
Oh
that is
my
funny.
God. That is so funny. When they did that, I was like, oh my God, that's another laugh out loud moment for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go home. Those people murdered by a black cloak figure, which as we've already spoiled, turns out to be the NWA. They get killed because they're bad actors.
Yeah.
Which the reason they kill people is very, very funny.
I like at the end, cutting ahead, when it's like, yeah, we let those people like fucking ham it up and Romeo and Juliet. We had semi-professional actors waiting in the wings.
Right.
Because like one girl was like a body double
an
in
extra.
a crime procedural, and another guy was like in a commercial or something.
Yeah.
Like that was enough to be like, yeah, they have, like we have serious actors here.
That's so funny.
It's also very British to kill someone over like a bad
Performance.
Shakespearean
Yeah.
production.
As they should.
Like they really do take the theater seriously over there.
They, especially Shakespeare.
That's their boy.
That's their boy. Yeah, that is a punishable crime. Not by murder.
I wish.
Bad
I wish
Shakespeare?
shit.
Yeah.
Just shit. Self-indulgent, wall-chewing stage acting was punishable by death.
It is particularly bad when it is Shakespeare, when the language is already kind of verbose and muddied, and then you do a bad performance of it where it's completely incomprehensible.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I'm on the NWA side on this one.
I can't say that I don't condone murder when the
When it
performance
comes
is
to-
bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then we cut ahead. They were at the bar. They have that nice scene where the next morning they get that tip about the guy out in the country who has a bunch of weapons.
Yes.
And that
yes.
reveal the two dudes talking in that just like incomprehensible accent is so good.
So funny.
And then them going through that arsenal and him just being like, yeah, these are my guns. That's an old sea mine.
Yeah.
That sea mine.
What is these like? I don't have a permit for this one. It's like, wait, what do you mean this one?
Yeah.
Like,
this one.
Is there more?
Yeah. So they haul in all of these weapons. They did a good job. So Nick Frost and Simon Pegg go out on the town. He loosens up. He has a pint. He has a lager. They at the bar. They see this rich dude about town who is drunk, and they escort him home. And he has this gross, huge mansion.
Also, another crime that should be punishable by
Also on the
you build this has been
tacky-ass
happening in my
mansion.
hometown neighborhood for
yeah.
the last like 15 years.
Dude, yeah.
Where like gorgeous homes built turn of the century,
Yeah.
1900s, getting raised
Yeah.
for some shit
Yeah.
open concept.
Just
Fuck
like
you.
glass box.
Room should have doors.
Room should have doors. Walls.
Back in my day, the kitchen was a separate room from the living room.
Walls shouldn't be windows.
Also, homes that are the size of the property.
Yeah.
The property, like the lot.
Yes.
Like no yard.
Yeah.
No, like going around the side of the house. Just, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserved to die.
Yeah. So he gets murdered while our boys are watching Bad Boys.
Yeah, I also, on this murder, this was the murder that in the movie I was like, actually, this is kind of like most clever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he got drunk and then he started to make a meal for himself and, just as an accident, like it completely fucking blew up.
Combusted. Yeah, this was their best. Yeah, because they did.
It was very calculated, yeah.
They did lazily throw those bodies around the traffic stop. And I love that. So Simon Pegg is like, there's a serial killer happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone at the precinct is making fun of him. Olivia Colman keeps calling him a pussy or something. And it's just, I wish there was more of her. I mean, I always wish there was more of her.
Yeah.
I wish she had more jokes in this.
Yeah.
I feel like that character is so funny, that like internalized misogyny of cops and how she portrays that. There is something there. It fits this movie to have more of that.
It does. Yeah.
I think they could have. I mean, maybe there's more and they just cut it for time.
I was going to say, I wondered if they knew at the time
who they had.
the like Olivia. Yeah, actually, like you don't
chops.
realize that you've got
one of our finest
people
actors.
are going to say this about me one day.
That you didn't realize that one of
Like,
your finest
This
actors.
little bit part.
on set.
Damn.
I mean, they
no
had
idea.
a lot of them. Like Bill Nighy's here.
That's true. Honestly,
Jim Broadbent.
Yeah,
is there.
everyone in
Yeah.
this movie is a pretty heavy
Kate
hitter.
fucking Blanchett is
Yep, uncredited.
just in full like hooded costume.
Yeah.
So they get heavy hitters. People want to work with these dudes, and it does seem like they're probably having a ton of fun on set. Like it does seem like a good vibe, that they're good.
Yeah,
dudes.
I mean, fuck.
They're
That'd
good
be a cool environment to work with.
because Jim Broadbent, same thing. Just saw a Shot of the Dead, loved it, called up and was like, "I need to be in your next movie."
Sure.
And
Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah. And then they just were able to get Timothy Dalton. And so just real winning movies from these guys. But they go back. No one believes them. They keep making jokes. They're at the town festival. Simon Pegg on watch duty, on guard duty for this festival. Wins Nick Frost a cuddly monkey.
Yes.
With his shooting skills. Also, fun fact about this movie. In the original draft of the script, Nick Frost had a girlfriend named Victoria.
Oh, interesting.
It got written out. They just repurposed a lot of her dialogue to be between
the two of them.
The two of them.
You know what? That's so interesting because, and I wondered when we would get to this point of the podcast, but
their love.
Yes, and I'm going to be honest. I wasn't really feeling this relationship. I don't know. I was just kind of like, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost doing their thing. And then I go online and actually there's a lot to be written about like this relationship between these two guys.
There is. I think it is ripe for fanfic. Just because the reason that relationship works and you do get a sense of like these guys, the love between them, is all in their performance and their chemistry and not so much in the script, I think. I don't think it was mined that well in the script, but it exists just because they have so much chemistry together.
I was just kind of like, oh yeah, this is just the great chemistry between these two actors who collaborate together all the time. And then I go online and people are like, this is a love story. Yeah. No, it can absolutely... And it's definitely there. I mean, I get it.
It can be viewed that way.
Blown away by how intensely people feel about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and I definitely felt that at the end of the movie. You know, when Nick Frost's character turns on his dad for him.
Yeah.
There is maybe a more streamlined version of this movie that focuses a little more on the development of their relationship rather than
I do like to hear though that they nixed the girlfriend and then they just
gave it. Yeah,
because like
that's cool.
That is really cool.
And it works. It works so well.
Because the reverse happened with The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
With Rose.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but like Finn and Poe already have.
You have it.
You already
elsewhere.
have that.
Yeah.
You don't need to add a woman.
Yeah.
Love Rose Tico, shout out. But like, that's brave for a man to write a movie and then say, actually, we don't need a woman to just be the expositioner.
I mean, I think that's what's so great about these the three of them, Nick Frost.
Well,
Simon
we said
Pegg,
Shaun of the Dead was about masculinity.
It was. I think the Cornetto trilogy at large is about men growing up.
Yeah, true.
That is the theme of that runs through all three of these movies. And yeah, their relationship of making each other better. Nick Frost, teaching Simon Pegg's character to loosen up a little bit and
relax, man.
Relax, see both sides of things, take things into context. And then, Simon Pegg kind of just getting this guy, helping him realize his potential and the good he could do by just virtue of him being a genuinely good guy, is all there. But yeah, you definitely see it.
Yeah, but when people were like, they're gay, I was like, oh.
You see it at the carnival. The carnival scene is probably the most maybe prominent of it, minus their fight scene when they're doing all their macho act.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, you definitely. I mean, he wins in the cuddly monkey.
Yeah, wow. My woke 2023 brain, I didn't even. Yeah. I just thought two bros are just hanging out.
Just that's two bros.
That's not gay.
That's not gay. He's just.
You give your homie a little
cuddly monkey.
Cuddly monkey.
I like that they keep calling it the cuddly monkey.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was like a Britishism that I wasn't hip to, or if it just was a cuddly monkey.
Yeah, I just like calling it a cuddly monkey.
I mean, that's how they refer to it. But yeah, he's walking around with a cuddly monkey. The newspaper editor was like, "Hey, I got a tip for you. I'm onto these guys. Meet me at the behind the church at three. Simon Pegg's like trying to hurry up this raffle pulling that they're doing at the carnival. And it doesn't work because by 3, this guy Tim Messenger is behind, and they chop off a turret
Yeah.
on this old timey church, and
Which, did you see the village fundraiser? It said save the church roof.
save the church roof.
Which
Yes.
honestly, that just made me laugh. I kind of forgot that this was leading up to that scene.
Yeah.
And honestly, that just made me laugh of like, you know what? That would be some fucking church fundraiser. Like some stupid
save
shit.
the church roof, and it gets cut off, and it lands point down on this guy's skull. And the way that falls too, every time I don't expect it because the physics of it obviously make no sense.
Of course not.
But
no.
in like cartoon world, it does that.
It goes
pierces-
inside of his body. Yeah.
It replaces his head,
Yeah.
which is incredible. And they shot the messenger. Messenger's dead now. We find out he is killed because of poor spelling in the newspaper.
Which again, honestly,
which, if that is a crime,
I kind of get it though.
you get it.
That's going to print. That's going to fucking print.
It's going to print, but that's not his fault. That's the editor's fault.
That's true.
That's true.
If his editor needs to be killed.
If you're just a reporter, make all the typos you want. That's not you.
My senior year of high school, we got a school directory, as you do.
Yeah.
And we had a spelling error, a print error so bad that even as teenagers, we were like, no, truly, like someone needs to complain. This is fucking insane. First of all, we had all the art areas listed, but not visual art.
How dare
So
they?
it was just HSPA.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
High school for the performing and visual arts. Like we have an art department that just like paints,
Yeah.
art, not on the directory at all.
It does. The acronym of the school, I will say, HSPVA, does sound less like an STD without the V.
Well, I think there are other schools that are just performing arts schools, but we have
You have
the
a visual arts. Yeah.
Now also the creative arts because we have a writing department now. But anyway, so they fully left off the art department entirely, which is like, okay,
That's the name of the
strike
school.
one.
Yeah.
And then theater was misspelled. Now, we're pretentious theater kids. How would you say theater? If I said they misspelled theater, what would you think
They
happened?
put an E at the end?
Right? They, instead of doing
Yeah.
RE, they did
Yeah.
ER.
Yeah.
No, I think they went with ER, but the H in theater was a J. It was a full
So it became like
on
a Swedish
typo.
word. Yeah.
It was a full-blown typo
You're so mad about
that
this.
I know because you would have gotten a fucking squiggly line underneath any software you were using.
Yeah.
And then also to the naked eye, that's not a word.
Right. It's not a word.
TJEATER.
It is in Sweden.
I don't know, but I would kill someone for that because I'm sorry. That is how many people? And even if it was just the one, you hit print.
You know what
You
they
didn't
meant.
even print a test one to look at it.
I will give you tacky big house. I will give you bad Shakespeare.
No, as a victim of like a egregious typing error, I would kill.
I, as someone who makes egregious typing errors all the time.
I know you do.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever nailed a tweet.
Okay, but when it's going to print,
Sure. Look,
600 copies for a high school.
all right, Act 1, Simon Pegg.
I'm just saying.
Um,
It's one of the stupidest things. I still remember this.
yeah, I mean, it definitely docks you for best town,
To say the least.
best school.
But also, I think they also killed Messenger because he was onto them.
yeah.
That's like the reason they give, but it's like, well, I think he also like.
He
kinda
also was
cluing in.
it kind of was a necessary murder.
Right.
So we got 3. It's officially a serial killer now. The town is the precinct is still on the fence about this whole thing being.
And I love that they have so many examples of people accidentally dying.
right. Yeah.
It's like people do that all the time here. It's like, what?
Yeah. Your town's so perfect, but people accidentally die all the time.
Yeah.
Your death rate is super high. But,
Like, I mean, there's a death a day. It seems like on average.
yeah, it's a small town too. 3 people.
They're wiping out their own
yeah,
population.
that's what, that's 3% of your population.
Yeah.
There are like 100 people in this town. Yeah, and then people are still on the fence, but Simon Pegg's not letting this go. Red string's out. He's figuring it out. And guess who number 1 suspect is? Rich guy, man about town, Timothy Dalton.
Who also does a really good job of having like a pure, like, I don't want to say creepy, like villainous vibe.
He does. He's so good at that. The mustache. Yeah, you don't trust him for a second.
He really knows how to use his face muscles.
Yeah. He's very creepy in this movie in a delightful way to watch.
I hate when people think acting is just making faces, but sometimes if an actor is really good at making faces, like
that's a big part of it.
That is part of it.
His face, his mustache.
Yeah,
it's all working.
Like the curl of his smile.
You don't trust this.
It's like
man.
he can manipulate it specifically,
right,
for the character.
Yeah, he has that Grinch smile that comes up at the corners of the mouth first. He's great. But yeah, and then he goes to the florist to buy Nick Frost as he's like freaking out about this whole town thing. We find out it's his birthday. We want to give Nick Frost his buddy a peace lily. Buys him a flower because taking care of Simon Pegg's peace lily was like he learned a lot about responsibility.
Yes.
So we want to give that to Nick Frost. And he goes to the florist. The florist is talking about how she's going to move. And beautiful, beautiful selection of flowers in here. As he leaves, she gets murked. She dies pretty brutally too. That was another kill that I was like, whoa.
I don't think I saw that one on TV.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. That kill was brutal.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the hell is going on here? And I love that they kill her because she was going to move.
Yeah. And we can't have
we need to have a nice flower shop in town.
Yeah. That is not punishable by death.
No, yeah. You're too good of a florist.
We have to, if no one can have you.
So yeah, we finally get to skipping ahead to we're cracking down on the NWA's board meeting, which is very cult-like.
Yes,
they're shadowy underground,
and I feel like every time I'm watching this on TV, this is the scene I tune in for.
Yeah,
like this is the scene I'm always catching.
This scene. I feel like I see the goose chase a lot.
Oh yeah. I don't know. For me, it's pretty much always around this part of the movie that I.
This is a big part of the movie because this is where we're gonna get our exposition dump of what's happening. The NWA is they really want this Best Village award, and they've killed all our folks. And Simon Pegg had the theory that it was multiple serial killers, like in Scream, and he was in. Sorry, Simon Pegg had that theory. Nick Frost said it was like in Scream.
Yeah.
And he was right. It's the entire NWA behind it, led by Timothy Dalton, led by Jim Broadbent, this guy's father.
An inside job.
It's an inside job. They're letting all these people go because they want to get best town. We find out, and this bit is also a little convoluted, that in a heartbreaking scene, Nick Frost is in on it too. Or at least knows. He does the bidding of the NWA.
Yeah.
This part, I'm like, oh, are they going to do like a full villain reveal of him?
Yeah, is the gag that he's like too dumb to recognize that like, no, dude, you've been like actually playing into all of this?
I think so, but he's in the meeting. Well, I get, yeah, it's a little like he just didn't think about it. I guess maybe Simon Pegg's role in all of this was helping him be his own man a little bit and take, have his own opinions and not just go along with the flow of everything. Yeah. But he's willing to do that up until he's looking his lover, Simon Pegg, in the eye.
I suppose.
But yeah, either way, he does turn. I guess it's that moment that helps him realize it, or at least makes him turn, which it muddies things a little bit. I would have liked to see that character development on Nick Frost's character, on Danny's character. Yeah. I when I finished this movie, I did have a thought that this could be also an interesting movie from Danny's perspective. From the perspective that this new cop comes into town where everything is fine. From your perspective, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy going. You think you're a good cop and you can do what you want, and you've carved out this nice life for yourself. And then this guy comes to town, and you're
describing a book. Like this feels like a book I've read 1,000 times.
Sure,
where,
maybe.
Like the main character is also the narrator,
right?
And then a person comes in and disrupt the narrator's life, and the narrator's like, "You're crazy," but then the narrator's like, "I don't know though."
Right.
That's kind of a good point.
It becomes a little bit more. But I would have liked to see if Danny is truly kind of in on it or doing the work of the NWA absentmindedly, I would have liked to see more of his development out of that. Yeah. Because it is a shock that he is both doing the bidding of them and in that moment all the way at the end, that's the moment he turns, is when he's looking Simon Pegg in the eye. I would have liked to see more conflict from him.
Yeah, in that moment.
Doing all this, or even just doing the detective work with...
Yeah,
with
a shot of him looking a little uneasy.
Yeah, some conflict in him about this instead of just like being so enamored with this cool big city cop.
Yeah.
Some conflict in him I would like to see.
I'm thinking now, is Nick Frost like doing a good job acting in this movie?
He's doing a really good job playing
Nick Frost.
Yeah, playing that Nick Frost character. He's doing a great job comedically. He's doing a great job playing this.
I just bring
silly
this up
foil.
because love Nick Frost, please. And for the record, you don't have to be like the greatest actor on earth to turn in great performances and to be a very watchable person. So like this is no shade in any way, shape, or form. But when we left Shaun of the Dead, I was like, Simon Pegg is a good fucking actor. Like genuinely a good actor. And I see that in this movie as well.
Yeah.
He's playing a different character entirely. It's like
Very
completely
different.
dialed in.
Yeah.
Like the worldview, like I understand. Also that his character is the main character that we spend the most amount of time with. So he gets that benefit as well.
Simon Pegg also writes these movies.
That too. Yeah. But Nick Frost in this one, he's just kind of like...
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's as good as Simon Pegg, if he's just kind of like a pure comedy
He's
guy.
just like Nick Frosting a little bit.
I don't know how... I mean, I don't want to assign blame, quote unquote, but part of that might be Nick Frost. Part of that is also the direction and what they came in.
Yeah, totally. Because like what you're talking about, like I wish I would have seen some more conflict. It's like
that's direction. That's direction and writing. I don't know if that's in the script or in the movie.
Oh, but see, I would think like as an actor, I know how it ends, and I can start to put that information into.
Yeah,
but again, we're seeing this movie through the lens of the editor and Wright ultimately.
Yeah,
so that is a decision on their end too.
Yeah, so it's
whether or not he was giving that.
The movies, they're a team effort.
I feel bad giving like this examination of the acting of Nick Frost.
I do think there's... Yeah, I don't think it's all on him. I think movies are a team effort and this performance is a team effort.
Well, I mean, the editor is really an actor's best friend or worst enemy. Like, I think really it boils down to that.
So I don't know how much of that's intentional and how much of that... but I do think there was more conflict.
There's maybe another layer there's
another layer out of this movie that they could have got. But yeah, he turns at that point, and then that's when we get this he's trying to take down the NWA. We get this big shoot 'em up scene. The whole force is now behind them, and not that they have that arsenal of weapons that they've confiscated, and we get this massive, very long,
and I always forget
scene.
It is this long, and it is this long,
and it's a shame that it's, in my opinion, our opinion, too long, because there's some amazing stunts and action.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah,
and there's some really funny stuff in there. But at this point, I'm like, well, I know what the movie's about. I know they're gonna kill all these people. Like, let's speed it up. I wish it was a little more.
You know, this movie's like only 2 hours long, but there's comedy really, to me, it's got to stay.
It's got to stay tight.
Like 90 minutes. Like circle the 90 minute zone.
Yeah.
You're really, because you know what? I kind of feel this way. I don't know the runtime on these movies, but like Anchorman to me, like
perfect comedy.
Criterion Collection, greatest, one of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
And then Talladega Nights is like the hot fuzz of that, where it's still very, very good. I'm not as personally big on it as I was the first one.
Sure.
You know, there's like some diminishing returns.
Sure.
And it's like, because Talladega
Nights... Despite it
Nights,
being a very funny, quotable
fucking hilarious. But Talladega Nights also kind of bloat.
Sure.
Starts to get a little bloaty.
Sure.
Hot Fuzz, get a little bloaty. It's that sophomore film. And again, it's like, because now they have a fucking budget.
Yeah. And
also,
they can do cool
every
things.
reputable actor in England wants to work on these movies. So
right. And like,
it's not unearned, but it's like you kind of miss. Some of the tightness, I guess, that comes with.
Yeah.
Shit, we only have so many days to make this movie, only have so much money.
Because also the reveal has happened. We know, I mean, I would have maybe tried to, if you wanted to do those, like spread those scenes out a little more, or not just make it one, 20-minute action sequence, because there's some great stuff in here. The scene in front of the church with the priest is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, some incredible kills, some great explosions, some really funny moments with the whole cop force. But yeah, I did stop caring about it and checked out a little bit.
I actually did check the time when Nick Frost has like pulled Simon Pegg out of the boot.
Yeah.
I'm using the English terms here, the boot of the car. Because I was like, well, goddamn, how much more time is on this movie? Like, we know that was it.
And that leads to like what is ultimately a pretty quick wrap up of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like that happens, and then we're out. We're the London PD wants him back. We get our little Bill Nye, Martin Freeman cameo back. They want him back.
Their second day of filming.
Their second day, their second hour.
They
maybe.
get 2 days.
Yeah. They want him back. He's like, no, I'm staying here. London crime rate has skyrocketed. Where they're overrun, and he's like, well, you kicked me out. You didn't want me to do my job.
Yep.
And now I've learned to chill out a little bit, and I'm gonna let.
And I'm in love with Nick Frost.
And I'm in love with Nick Frost, and I'm gonna let London get overridden by crime. That's on you guys. I'm in this idyllic little town,
which is cool. He was radicalized.
Yeah, with my buddy Nick Frost, who is now inspector, and he's now and Simon Pegg's now head of the force, and everybody's on, and he's not a fascist. He's letting things happen. He's letting people beat people.
Right.
The NWA doesn't have this crazy hold on the town, which I do think that part is very funny. I think I've seen, we moved around a lot, but my parents definitely lived in this one place where there was like an HOA that was like, you can't leave your bikes outside. If there's a shoe rack outside.
I don't know what an HOA is good for. I'm going to be so fucking honest. I literally can't name one positive thing about a homeowners organization.
People do what they want with their balconies and homes. If there's a towel on a railing to dry.
That is insane to me that you could say to somebody, I don't like the way your fucking yard looks, so change it or we're going to give you a fine.
Yes, that is fascism. That is crazy.
Yeah, we actually, a little tea, we were, I don't think we were in an HOA, but we were definitely part of a neighborhood, we're the neighborhood.
Part of the neighborhood, yeah.
And me and my next door neighbor, we left that organization because they were going to build townhomes behind us, and we were anti those townhomes.
Yeah.
This was right before the 2008, real bubble burst.
Right.
So they built these
so you at
gaudy
12,
the dude whose house got blown up, they built these gaudy townhomes that largely remain empty.
Yeah. I hate those.
And they look into our backyard because they're 4 stories tall.
Yeah.
And every other building in our neighborhood is a residential 2-story.
Yeah. Well, fuck those people. But yeah, I think
now my opinion on housing has changed. I'm like, well, actually, maybe
we need more. But were those houses?
Well, they tore down perfectly good family homes to put that up.
Yeah, which
so it's
were probably
okay.
More
so
expensive.
I don't know if we really did anything better by doing that.
Yeah, no, HOAs are stupid. This movie does function well as a satire of that kind of fascist thing, because in that you have Simon Pegg, who is this overzealous cop, kind of coming into the situation where that overzealous things need to be, there's a right and wrong and a way to do things, and this is how we do it in the neighborhood. If you don't like it, you get killed.
Right.
It functions as a satire of heightening his problem and shining a light on it in a really clean way. The thing that gets that they keep accusing him of being a fascist and all this when they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a little muddy, but
yeah. So Shaun of the Dead is about masculinity. Would we say this is about society?
Yeah,
this is about living in a society.
Living in a society.
We're in a society.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what we come to in this movie is that we live in a society and people need to be.
Because I was also thinking kind of more towards the beginning, but I was like, is this movie pro-cop or anti-cop?
It was a little...
Because it's a little... I would say largely anti.
I would say anti. I think it's just anti being such a...
fucking rule follower.
Or it's anti seeing things in black and white, which is
True,
if you are a quote unquote good cop who has done everything to be a good cop and keeps training, you're kind of trained to see things in black and white and by the book and rules. And in this one, we kind of learn that there is room for nuance
Right.
in society.
Like Nick Frost's whole thing is like, there's context here.
Right. Yeah. You kind of got to let people be people. You got to chill out and read the room.
And like they kept using the term the greater good.
The greater good.
And
every time they say it twice, it's so the greater good thing is very funny.
The greater good, the greater good.
The great,
yeah, but actually, like the greater good sometimes is like, let the teens drink in the bar. They're 17 years old.
Right.
Fuck's sake. Let the guy shoplift some petty snacks.
Right.
What the fuck? It's like fucking
let this goose shit on your lawn.
12 pounds of
merch
he's stealing. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. The greater good thing is very funny because they also. I left this movie thinking a lot about what they meant by the greater good because I guess the actual greater good is the opposite of what they're saying. They're saying the greater good is everybody follows these rules and does exactly what we say, or they get brutally murdered.
Right.
And that is the greater good. When in actuality, the greater good is probably just letting people be people.
Yeah,
and
just like
giving them a little room to do what they want as long as it's harmless.
So long as like no one's hurting anybody. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
I'm not sure if this movie makes that point as strongly, like nails home that point and leaves you with. I mean, it definitely leaves you thinking about this stuff.
Sure,
thinking. When you think about it in the context of the movie, it gets a little more muddied than I would say it does in Shaun of the Dead. But I think it does a good job making its point. It's funny. I don't hate this movie by any means.
To be clear, I do not dislike this movie. I like this movie. I just didn't realize
that I like Shaun of the Dead better.
Well, that I've kind of always known that, but I did not realize that me liking the movie pales in comparison to like the genuine 5-star love
of Shaun of the Dead.
Of this film. No, of Hot Fuzz.
Of other people.
That people like love Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, I don't think this movie fires.
It fires on diminishing returns, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it fires on as many cylinders as Shaun of the Dead does.
No,
personally.
And you know what? This is something that they talk about on another podcast called Blank Check, where they talk about how like actually sometimes when a filmmaker starts to get bigger and they get a bigger budget and whatever, like sometimes like the work begins to diminish because they don't have to do any creative problem solving anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have problems.
You don't have to consider every beat of your plot and how you're getting there as much. You can
because you don't really have a budget. Anything you want is yours.
You can make it. Yeah, you're like
versus what the creative challenge of like, well, shit, we're not gonna be able to rent a boat, so how can we tell this instead?
Right. Yeah, I think. I mean, I know I definitely work like this creatively, but it does kind of help to have rules and guidelines.
Yeah, actually.
And limitations when creating something. Because, when you can have too many ideas and you can have points not get across as exactly as you want to when you're kind of given free rein. You don't have to think as meticulously. And I think this movie gets a little just muddied and in the weeds of its own, action sequences and bombast and style, which is all to say it's a very watchable film. It's a very funny film.
Oh, yeah.
It works. But yeah, I don't think it's as clean at the end of the day.
I agree.
Yeah. So right now we got Shaun of the Dead sitting
my
at number
favorites
1.
are in order. And I haven't seen...
You haven't seen At the World's End?
At the World's End, no, because I remember that summer there were 2 world-ending movies that came out.
Yes.
And I watched the other one. This is the end.
Yes. Yeah. I have thoughts about that movie. I'm excited to give it another watch.
I'm assuming it's diminishing returns.
Sure.
I have yet heard anyone be like, well, did you see At the World's End?
My memory of it is not loving it. I'm excited to watch it again in full context of seeing all of these movies in their entirety. I think I will get more out of it this way, even though they're all like their own movies that are perfectly watchable alone. But
sure thing.
Thinking about these movies a little more. I'm excited to revisit that, and we'll do that next time here on Shooting Threes.
Only on the Small Beans Network, which you become a patron of. Go check out the Patreon. We're making a movie. I say we, I'm not involved, but we collectively, all of us, are making a movie. Very exciting stuff. I think the lowest tier is like $3 a month. Hey, if you've got it, like you may as well. You get really cool features. You get to be a part of the community. We read the comments famously. I was in there. Actually, somebody on Shaun of the Dead. Remember when Nick Frost used the N-word?
Oh,
did you read that comment?
Yes.
I thought that was so. I guess in the DVD commentary, in the British version, he said cunt, but they changed it to the N-word for American audiences. I'm like, swing and a miss.
What?
I think we would have been able to swallow cunt a little bit. I mean, I can say the word cunt. And there's the difference.
A real telling of what they think of American society. And honestly, probably at the time.
For cunt really was like you
taboo.
do not say that word.
Yeah. Which is fascinating. That was a great thank you to whoever wrote that.
Yeah, that was a great little tidbit of information.
Yeah.
So see, that's like what the access gets you.
You get to blow our minds.
Yeah, please do. And then also, we've changed our Instagram handle to be like a catch-all for all of our shows. Instead of Rough Stuff Pod, it is now BS Podcasting. So I think it's a pretty easy name to remember. BS Podcasting. That is where we will be posting all of our episodes and content, etc.
Yeah. You'll know when they're out if you follow it there.
We're on Twitter until that stops existing.
Until we can't take it anymore.
At SK_Griffith. It's kind of already there, really.
Yeah. I'm at my wit's end here. But at Bridgett Tweets, you can also, follow us on Letterboxd. I'm going to start plugging Letterboxd.
Wow.
We're going to start plugging Letterboxd.
Okay.
I just started and...
I actually have people, when they go to my Letterboxd, they're surprised. I have a little bit of a following on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Just because I was a really early adopter and like I had one review that went like mega viral.
Cool.
So I have almost 1,000 followers.
Join us on Letterboxd.
So brag.
I'm Bridget G. Berg.
I think I'm...
It's impossible to
either
find
Sarah Griffith or SK_Griffith.
Look
on every platform, it's one of the others.
So look for us on there. We talk about other movies that we watch on there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. And we'll be back with At the World's End and wrap up this Cornetto trilogy.
Lights,
cheers.
Camera, action! We're shooting threes, just SMB. We're gonna watch and review film trilogies. It's all for laughs, so just sit back. We're gonna drop hella dimes on this podcast.